Hello, Paulo in Portugal. Thank you for your question concerning no idle. And what you mentioned is that your car will rev up to 1800 or 2000 and above, and but you have no idle, or sometimes you have an idle and then it will die. So I think you've got some dirt issues we need to deal with, but when I'm going to try to help you show you where you want to start cleaning, to try to clean the ducts, the carburetor. Now, first of all, we're going to take a look at the actual official instructions, troubleshooting guide from Mercedes. So you've got, so you can read it here. We've got it up close. So you've got unsatisfactory idle. Again, it says, and note that you can only check the idle when the engine is warm, and that's the category for that's the trouble, and the cause is let's see if I'm helping you so you can read this. All right. So the idling, the fuel idle jet is clogged. Idle jet bores are clogged. Bypass bores are clogged. Intake ducts are dirty. When they say the intake duct, they actually mean the throat of the carburetor. Incorrect fuel level. Feed pressure too high. The fuel pump is overcoming the needle, the float needle and seat. And these carburetors, if you have the original fuel pump on, there should not be a problem. It's only a problem when you put an electric fuel pump on. Float needle is loose inside the float cover. Idle mixture control screw is messed up. Worn butterfly shaft. Butterfly of the second barrel does not close. And then here are the remedies. So if you've got idle jets are clogged, clean the idle jets and the bores. Bypass bores clogged, clean the bores. Intake ducts dirty, throw the carburetor dirty, clean the throat of the carburetor. Incorrect fuel level, correct the fuel level. Feed pressure, fuel pump pressure too high, correct the fuel pump pressure, and also check your needle and seat. Again, needle and seat are untight, screw them in place or replace the gasket. Damaged, broken idle mixture control screw, replace the mixture control screw and make sure it's in good condition. And that's this tapered needle right here. To screw the needle on it and make sure your needle is in good condition, not chewed up on the end. Worn butterfly shafts. Well, that takes some machine work, and it's probably not anything you need to worry about right now. And butterfly of the second barrel does not close, so you got to do a lot of checking on the carburetor. So check the adjustment of everything, the counterweights, the lever linkage, the shaft for smooth operation, automatic return, and then check the threaded pin, the headless screw on the shaft with the second barrel for tight seat. The set screw should be just where it just touches the threaded pin without any clearance in the idling position of the first barrel, and when the second barrel is closed. And idle mixture control screw of the second barrel not closed. Close the idle mixture control screw. Now let's go back to this one right here. The check the set screw should be adjusted. Okay. That is this part right here. Well, this carburetor is missing it, so I need to get a carburetor that's got those on there. Here we go. And what they're talking about is set screw right here, and this is the headless screw. And what you want is for the second barrel to be closed and this screw right here to be just barely touching this screw right here, and the reason for that is this one's not adjusted properly, but the reason for that is so that when these are both open and you close the throttle, you're closing the throttle over here, and this artificially closes the second barrel of the second barrel carburetor, and then vacuum closes it the rest of the way. And what you want is for this, when this is in the correct position for idling, which is just slightly cracked, you want this screw down here to where you can just barely touch, you can just barely move the butterfly. So this screw is not adjusted properly. It should be down almost touching this pin. That's what they're talking about. And that's something you need to adjust on your car. Now then, what else were you, the basics in terms of cleaning are, of course, the G55. You can see on here, G55. G is for gasoline, and 55 represents the size of the hole in here, which is very, very small, just about the diameter of a wire. And over here you've got your idle mixture screw, and what you want to make sure is this taper is in good condition. And sometimes people make the mistake of screwing this down super tight. They screw it down really tight and jam it down and then back it off 1.5 turns to get your initial setting. Well, that screwing it down really tight does nothing except ruin the hole in here where the mixture screw goes and does its adjusting. And so all you want to do is just turn it down to where it's just kind of barely touches, and then back it out 1.5 turns. Now for our purposes, I want to show you where all the passageways are. So now ultimately all the fuel starts in the float bowl, and then of course goes out this passageway down here at the bottom. This passageway at the bottom, and right, well, you can see the hole down there at the bottom, down here, and into the main jet. And so your fuel, all your fuel starts there. So, but since you said you've got idle, or you can operate the engine above 1800, then the main jets are not clogged. I believe your problem is still going to be with the idle jet. And this idle jet, the hole for the idle jet is drilled. Oh, here's that B12 I was telling you about, this spray cleaner. It's the best stuff in the world. And the hole for the idle jet is drilled where it goes all the way down. You can see how far down it goes, all the way down to the bottom of the float bowl, and intersects with a passage down at the bottom. See if I can show the passage. Okay, this passageway down here, and that leads to this hole right here. So you should be able to blow carburetor cleaner down here and or compressed air and get to where it comes through here and cleans out everything down there. In addition to that, the idle G55 idle jet is connecting to this passageway right here. So you've got, see this passageway, see if I can get the needle in there. Okay, here it is. Okay, so that passageway goes up inside there like that, right in through here, and intersects with this passageway. And this plug represents the hole that's been drilled through there into the throat of the carburetor. That's this hole right back here. But you cannot see this hole when the carburetor is assembled because you've got this venturi in place. So the venturi venturi down there is covering over where that hole is that I was telling you about. But when you clean it and blow through there, some fluid will come out through that little slot that's down in here. That slot right there. But you can't see it. And of course the problem is if your carburetors are still on the engine, you can't see any of this stuff. Then what you're doing is you are connecting this passageway all the way up through here and all the way up to the idle mixture screw. And what you're connecting is these drilled passages right here, these bypass bores. So this is where the idle mixture screw comes through, pokes its head through, and then these bypass bores which coincide with the butterfly opening to allow fuel to come through. And what you want to do is, as I said, this passageway comes in from the side right here. This passageway comes in from the back right here. So if this carburetor is mounted on your engine, you've got to take your fluid, your cleaner, or your compressed air, and what you want to do is blow like that. And what you're going to do is turn it around and show you what's happening. You see all these this is where the idle mixture screw would ordinarily be stuck right in there. What you're going to be looking for is these bypass bores, and including this one down here. So that's what you're doing, is you're cleaning out these holes right down here. You're cleaning out all these holes. I have known these things to be so bad that we'd actually have to drill this plug out and go in here and clean out the passageway, and then you replace the plug with a set screw. And if you're doing you have to come in from the sides to do the passageway right here, and you can see how it intersects, and you see coming up the fluid coming up there. And of course, again, we are blowing fluid out through the inside here. You can't see it very well there. Okay, now you can see the fluid going there. So that's all these interconnected passageways. The critical thing in terms of getting idle is going to be the second barrel butterfly closing completely. That's a better example. If this butterfly does not close completely, you are not going to have a good idle. And what people will sometimes do is, in order to try to get the idle to operate properly, or to get a balanced airflow, they will actually back out this mixture screw, idle mixture screw right here, but this is supposed to be closed. So this is closed completely so that these carburetors cannot process any, second barrel cannot process any air. And you can check that by using the synchrometer that well, I'll get the synchrometer. Alright, here's the synchrometer. Now when these things are idling, when the engine's warmed up and these things are idling, the factory readings are about this is the second barrel. This is the second barrel, and it should be closed. And the amount of air that's being processed through here usually will indicate around 2 to 2.5. You want the low number as possible. Anything above 2.5, and you're going to have air bleeding through here that is essentially unmetered air and fuel, and it's just going to make your well, see, I guess it's not unmetered, but it's not the correct. It's not supposed to be idling on the second barrel. This is all. I know it's very technical and very confusing, but I hope this will help you. So what you want to do is you want to be cleaning out all these passageways, and of course right here, the G55, you can't always tell if there's anything in there, so take a small wire and poke through there. So I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, please ask. Thanks and good luck.